What is up, everybody? How's it going? Say hello in the chat. We will get started momentarily. I'll try to pronounce some names. I'll introduce myself. I'll just say hi. I am Gary Simon. We'll introduce the show, what this is all about if you're brand new. Momentarily, let some people filter in. Yeah, big week here for certain. Huge week at DesignCourse, which I'll get into in a second. What is up, Drunken Pirate 47X, Mohammed, Gagna, what is up, Heinz, Anas, Weirwar, Swabroopti. That is a channel regular. Said, what is up? Ukno Music, Stan, Justin, Kamar, Kwasim, I guess. That's probably not how you pronounce it. Gateway to Code, what is up, Jamie? All right, that's enough of that. Yeah, Mr. Frock. I don't know if I'm ever bringing Frock back. Maybe I will. I think I will. That was just so much work. But anyhow, we're starting off the year with a good stream so far. We have 69 concurrent viewers. It literally says that. Look, I'm not kidding. It says it right here. Oh, now we went up to 72. Anyway, yeah, awesome. So I'm going to get started now. I'm sure most of you already know, or maybe some of you at least, but for those who don't, I finally released DesignCourse.com, and that was just a few days ago, January 4th. And we've been working on this for over a year and a half. It's a custom platform for learning UI, UX design in an interactive setting. You're going to see the YouTube description here, by the way, which only for the hour of this stream, you can use a special discount code for the year 2022, STREAM22. You can use only during this 1 hour stream to get 22% off the regular price of this. So what is it? Like I said, we teach UI, UX design in an interactive approach, and that is through 16 hours of video. We have over 40 user interface tests. We also have Mentor, which is where I take a look at all the work that you design. There's over a dozen challenges currently, like design challenges. I look at your work and I provide revisions and feedback if need be. So it's really a great way for you to, become a better designer essentially. So there's also digital certificates of completion. So you can have certificates if you follow and you finish all the modules. And like I said, use discount STREAM22 for during this stream. But also, if you're in one of the countries that qualifies for parity pricing, it'll let you know on the final step of the checkout process. So you can get up to about 40% off if you're in one of those countries. And yes, if you try to gamify it with a VPN, it won't work. So make sure you turn off VPNs when you order. So anyhow, that is that. And what is this show? Well, this is the Negative Space live UI UX review, where essentially the instructions to submit your design work, primarily UI UX work, are in the YouTube description, and that's in the Discord servers where you submit it. See all these people? Like 20 minutes ago, I said submit below, and these are already all the submissions that we received right here. Quite a few. I don't get through all of them. I never get through all of them. I take them in the order that they were received. Also, if you are a member of DesignCourse, there is a live UI UX workshop coming up here, I believe on the 11th. So when you join up, which most of you will, you better during the stream, you'll be able to do an exclusive, kind of not exclusive, but it'll be a live UI UX workshop just for DesignCourse students only. Okay, which will be powered by Zoom. All right, let's check out the first one. I'll stop talking because I know you want me to get through as many of these possible. Because why else would you be watching me? Okay. So let's get started. First, let's see if this person said anything. No, they didn't. So it's just a Figma prototype. Let's get this enlarged back up. I'm kind of liking what I'm seeing off the start. Nice, smooth little line right here. Doing something simple like this, although I could tell the angles aren't perfect circles. You might want to work on that. But I could tell doing something just a little bit unique like this can really transform a design rather than just having a planar, flat sort of line going across. So I like that. I like the type. So if this were a smaller type, there would be issues with the contrast, but because it's a large type, it's still easily readable. It doesn't have to necessarily be white. I like the... Now, I don't necessarily like the hover state. I think that's a little bit too less contrast. So you might want to change them only a little bit more subtly, lighten up that color. I like everything I see here so far. Maybe a little bit more lighting or line height on this subhead, on this little description right here. But yeah, really strong call to action. This is good so far. I'm liking what I see. Good white space, good type. I like how this kind of follows this little angle going down. Although I'm not sure about the hover color here. I would change that to something else because the black doesn't contrast well with this. So maybe just make it a real light tint of this background color right here, rather than such a significant contrast upon hover. Again, a little bit more line height with these paragraphs here, just a tad bit more. Yeah, all pretty solid here. We'll do the ratings. What do you guys think this person should get for a review? 1 being the worst and 10 being the best. Ahmed, to answer your question, while I wait for people to give us their 1 to 10 rating here in the chat, no, I do not teach any code so far at DesignCourse.com. We are going to be releasing 2 more courses this year. I have a plan in the works coming sometime this February is going to, or maybe even late January, is going to be an Adobe Xd course. And with that, I'm going to release a crash course on the YouTube channel to promote that course. And it's going to be cheaper because it's going to be a shorter course, maybe like 5 hours. And then later on in the year, there's going to be a big one where we focus on teaching CSS interactively. But as far as JavaScript, that's probably next year. Oh, we're having buffering issues. Oh no, that's not good. Yeah, there's some issues apparently. I'm not torrenting anything. Yeah, I can see it's like blinking and it's giving me an error. It's saying YouTube's not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Stream status is poor. Well, there's like literally nothing I can do about that. Oh, that sucks. All right, for me, I'm going to give this a rating for what it is, about a 7.8. I think that's pretty fair. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. All right. And it looks like you guys are agreeing for the most part. All right, so let's continue on. Next up is a friend's portfolio from Dark Lightning. Wait, I know that person. I've known that. I know that name. I think I know this person possibly on Twitter. I'm not sure. Ooh, look at this. This is snazzy. Very, I like the font and the type with that sort of serif font here. Quite large, I have to say. A little bit hard to read this scrolling down as it's all moving. Interesting. So we're using, they have some WebGL stuff going on here that's based on, also you can see we have the smooth scroll or the locomotive scroll. By the way, you can search for a video on my YouTube channel. Just type in locomotive to see how to integrate this. Also, yeah, so it's based on the speed and it's distorting these images. So this is a very trendy sort of thing that you can completely do on a portfolio. Now here's the thing, unfortunately, because this is not your design, this is somebody else, I don't want to sit here critiquing it, although obviously it's very well done, I have to say that. Very cool. Let's continue on though, I won't bother with the rating. Is my stream still poor? There's JVS, which is the my developer who made this all design course from scratch and made it all work, in the chat. All right. All right, checking this out. All right. All right, there's a couple things here that I do not like. Let me, we're just gonna take a look at the home page. I'm gonna go to File, New. I'm copying that. How is my stream? Okay, somebody says, okay, we can still hear. One thing I don't like about this, there's a few elements that seemed out of place, and I would put this in that realm, because you just kind of have, you can see, actually, if you made this column like an actual background color, Like for instance, if I did this and put it behind your arrow, and perhaps we gave it the same hue, and then boost this up just a bit. Doing that, what you're doing becomes a little bit more acceptable, although this right here, I don't like the placement of that. So I would get rid of that and maybe place that somewhere else. But now, you like my hair short? All right, that's it. I don't have short hair. It was just in a ponytail, a girly ponytail, just to keep it out of my way. All right, I did not cut my hair. This hair is getting long. It's going to be down like it's all right. Anyways, so I think this becomes more acceptable if you put this in a column. However, if you're just going to leave it outside of that, I would get rid of this because it's out of place. And just have a strong call to action that says my portfolio. Next up, this section, when I say leading, you want to increase your leading. Unfortunately, I don't have that font. We'll just change it to Illyrion or however you pronounce that. Maybe we'll decrease the type a little bit, the size, and then we'll increase. That right there is a lot better to me than the original. The resume button seems out of place. I would just put that right here. It would make much more sense. All right. Okay, so let's do a real quick rating. Here's the original. And we're only focusing on this page because that's all the time that we have. And yeah, what do you all think this person should get for a rating? 1 being the worst and 10 being the absolute best. Somebody asked, what do you think about awards and other pages with design stuff for inspiration? Why winning pages are so complex, even hard to read for casual. You know what? I do think that there's an issue with the AWW awards site because they all seem very similar. I think they need to include more practical examples of websites that are just excellent. You know, maybe have a category for that, like e-commerce design, like that's actually excellent and not all inundated with crazy 3JS effects and locomotive scrolls. I do agree they should probably do that, but you know, it is what it is. I don't know why my stream is going bad. I'm not doing anything. I don't have any apps open. I mean, my kids might be on the damn phone, on their TikToks and whatever. Natalie! I'm going to tell my kid to get off TikTok if she's on it. Hold on a second. I'm going to be right back. I'm streaming right now, and there's issues with my stream quality, and I'm going to ask you for like the next 45 minutes not to use TikTok because it's taking too much internet quality from me. Well, just do something else, please. All right, I'm back. Yeah, I'm sorry about I just told my daughter to get off TikTok, so hopefully she listens. She said, what am I going to do? I'm like, I don't know. Live life like a normal person. All right, so anyhow, yeah, for this, you know, I'm going to have to give this probably like a 6. I think that's pretty fair. Let's continue on outside of that. I know I'll try to move a little bit faster here. It is not finished yet. I tend to make changes to the skills page, so let's check that out. Wait, I did already do that one. All right, one of the projects for my portfolio, be gentle. A lot of purple, I have to say. All right, okay. I'm noticing an inconsistency right off the bat, so 1 second. So, yeah, as we could see, we have sort of, yeah, there's inconsistency in the placement of this type right here in relation to the 3 squares or blocks that you have occurring here. First, this one's aligned pretty well at the bottom, but still not great because if you look at the amount of white space from the bottom of this type to the left of this type, there's a lot more white space here. Now, if you look at the amount of white space from the left of this block to this, it's all it's not even, and they're all not consistently applied. And then this one's just centered. You want them to all to fall on the same exact amount of white space from the left and the right, or left and the bottom, as in left here to the bottom here. So that's kind of throwing off the consistency and the overall quality of the layout. I would say though, just from a practical standpoint, when somebody first visits this site, it's a little bit strange to bottom align the primary headline like this, because you really don't want to have people to look around and try to look too much. You have all this space, especially on this large desktop version, to boost the freaking size of this type like massively. Font size 2.5 rem. Let's go 6 rem, and let's make that sucker bold. Bold, and let's also adjust the line height. Let's do like 5.5 rem. All right, maybe width we'll do like 70%, like 40%, 50%, or 60%, something like that. Look how much better that is and how much that stands out as a headline. It's so much more noticeable, and you might even want to put it up here and try to maybe rethink just so it's a little bit more front and center. So if I refresh, you'll see the original. Look how much understated that is. So I think definitely a stronger headline as well. Ahmed, you know if you're eligible for the parity discount by visiting the very last step of the order process, where you choose the where you log in and you choose the payment method. You'll see it'll say parity pricing and then a button to click. All right, so deals of the day. Again, inconsistent alignment. This would look so much better if this was just moved over equally. What I mean is, if we click on this and we do margin left, 3M units, I guessed perfectly. Look how much better that is. You have consistent alignment, although there's a little bit too much down here, just slightly. But if we refresh this, you'll see it just kind of throws things off when you don't have that equal, consistent white space among your containers. Too blocky right here, way too blocky. I would get rid of this right here, this middle one, and just make this stuff a higher contrast. Obviously something that contrasts well with the white, but there's just too many blocks occurring here that are high contrast. Again, little white space between, like, see all categories. Look how much little white space it is between us, and it becomes a cluttered mess when you have all these elements of type so close together. All right, we'll do a rating, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best for this. Still says my stream is poor. Unbelievable. Is anybody here? Hello? Am I just talking to myself? There, I just sent a chat message. Well, this isn't cool. Hey, Natalie! I hope she freaking... Wow, finally somebody said something. I'll just keep talking now. I'm going to text my daughter and make sure she's not. All right. All right, cool. For this, I'm going to have to give something like a 6.5, something like that. I think that would be much better. And we can improve that for sure. Continuing on, we've been streaming for 20 minutes already. My portfolio, do you think I should move it to Webflow instead of Wix? I would probably say, yeah, probably. Although I don't have great experience with either Webflow or Wix, so I honestly can't answer that question accurately. But we'll take a look at this design as is. So apparently this is Wix. I'm not sure if this is something you created yourself. Hopefully it is, and it's not a template. Let's take a look at this. I like the font. What is this font? What the hell? It has some sort of weird type. I don't know what font that is. Either way, I like it. It's a good strong headline. It's nice and big, nice colors. We're I would say consistently and correctly using the primary color here, this teal, quite well. Say hi, like have that extended letter spacing and it's quite thin. I don't like that. I would get rid of that extended letter spacing, put it to default, and make that bold because this is your call to action. You want this type to be, you want it to stand out more. All right, let's scroll down. UI UX projects. I like how you're presenting these. This is a nice solid way to present them outside of just small little thumbnails, which is okay if you do that correctly, but to elaborate a little further and have these nice hovers right here, I really like that. This is done well right here. Nice sort of carousel slider right here. This is all good. Again, notice how he's using that primary color here in subtle ways. And those are placeholder values. You don't want to do that. So of course you want to make sure that if you have these labels here like this in your text fields, when you click on them, they at least float up as in floating labels. But the call to action is good and everything else is good. All right, got Gilroy. Okay, cool. 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. What do y'all think this person should get for a rating? Amish? Not Amish. Maybe it is Amish. I don't know. Asked, what are your opinions on WordPress, especially if you don't know how to code? Is it good? I mean, yeah, I suppose it could be good. I haven't personally used WordPress in forever. Like, I don't know how many years, like 7, 8 years or more. But it certainly can become bloated depending on the amount of plugins you use. I do know that. So I'm not going to be somebody who says you can't use WordPress and all that stuff. Use whatever works well, and as long as it loads fast, that's fine with me. All right, I'm going to give this one, because it's pretty solid here, a rating of, I'm going to give this an 8.0. I think it's pretty solid. Yeah, at least an 8. Very good. Next up, my portfolio. I already did that one. Interpod. Let's move this off. All right. So here we have what's pretty much a monochromatic in the idea that there's only one color essentially and a bunch of shades of it and tones. Stefanos says, how is this even an 8? It's a solid 9+. It could be like an 8.3. I'll give it that. All right, for this one though, all right, this is understated. This right here, this little section, the hero section, is understated a little bit too much. I mean, if we took this real quickly, I'll just do a real quick design refactor, and we really emphasize this headline. I wish that was grouped up. Oh, none of it's grouped up. All right. I built things on the internet that are awesome. Wait. All right, I'm not saying use that headline, but we can definitely kind of like utilize the space you have available a little bit more so. So for instance, if I take all this stuff, deselect that, move this stuff down, that's a lot better than this. I build things. I build things. Well, what do you build? I mean, I need a shelf put up in my office. Unbelievable. Wait, it says stream is healthy. It says it's excellent status. It says it's all excellent now. Tell me it's back. Okay. What did you not see here? I started redesigning this a little bit real quickly. All right, so basically the changes I made, I pushed this up a little bit higher. I don't know how far we got into this. I did make this bold and change this to, instead of this, that yellow right here, and then the not bold because there's less contrast. If you're dealing with type that has less contrast, you don't want to go light or regular. You want to go bold, and also change this. All right, so I'll do a quick rating of this. 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. I did improve this area big time. So if like you saw that person's headline, it says I build things, and it's just understated, this whole area. So I made a better headline to fill that area out more, and it just works so much better. Might also want to push this over, take these, all this stuff, push it over there. And now I think it has better alignment as well. And of course you would want to align this stuff correctly as well. You know, push that over there. Then you can extend these out a bit. It's healthy now. It says excellent stream. Ahmed, it's 22% off your first initial order, so your first month if you choose to sign up with Mentor. Oh no. It's screwing up again. All right, now it's not. Unbelievable. Yeah, so for your first month of Mentor, it will be discounted, but then from there on, after, it'll be $29 per month for Mentor itself. All right. I'm going to give this one, for what it is right here, a rating of probably just like a 6.2. I think that's fair. All right, next up. Yeah, I think I'm doing this one now. All right, so looking at this, there's some issues here in terms of type and also white space, or a lack thereof. So let's just tackle the white space first. For this section, you know, we're gonna wanna take this, or this rather, and give it margin, much more margin of like 4 EM 0. Okay, auto maybe. Yeah, there we go. Even more than 4 M units, we can go like 6 or 9. Now that looks a lot better than what was there before, because look how it's framed now, that type and everything. This is away from the top, and underneath here, this button demands more tension now because there's not this stuff right up against it. If I refresh, you'll see the lack of white space and how it feels so cluttered. So ensuring you have a good amount of white space, there is such thing as too much white space, but ensuring you're in that sweet spot somewhere is much more preferable. Now also, I like the idea of mixing fonts, especially for your headline and your titles and like that, but I'm not sure if this is the right font to use. It's a little strange because especially certain areas of this type are also italicized, and they don't quite fit well enough. The italicized words aren't differentiating themselves enough from the other type. So I would just say get rid of the italicized parts. And maybe if you want to emphasize words, or just a couple, you don't want to do it too many times, change it to your teal turquoise color right here. All right, so I like these card designs. I'm not too sure about this type. Again, you have a lot of interesting type that's occurring here, but I don't think you should use this one as well, because it's just, you have 3 different type now that's occurring, and I think you might want to just, if you're going to use like a different font for this, use whatever font you end up using up here. This area here isn't too bad. This is a pretty decent card. Again, you want to go easy on your paragraphs in terms of the amount of things you're bolding. You need a space there, by the way, as well as there. And also, like integrating icons like this, it can make it just like a difficult, messy thing to read. So simplify that area more. Yeah, stream is lagging all the time, apparently. get this evened up. You can see all this, there's an issue here. I'm sure that's not intended. I like this section though. All right, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. What do y'all think this person should get for a rating? I'll answer that question in here. My go-to font, I would say my go-to fonts are Nunito. I like that one sometimes. I like Aileron, Aileron or whatever. I also like Poppins. I think those three, pretty decent. Montserrat used to be a big one, but I don't really use that one as much anymore. All right, for this, there's definitely potential here. I'm going to give this one just a flat 7.0. I think that's pretty fair. All righty, so now that my stream quality says excellent, I'm going to spam you all because DesignCourse.com just released January 4th, a few days ago, and we've had hundreds of members, which is awesome. And basically, you can learn UI UX designs. My platform, JVS, and my partner, that's my partner on the business, not socially or anything. On Discord, JVS, I developed this whole custom platform for learning UI UX design interactively. 16 hours, over 16 hours of video. We have 40 user interface tests, which is this fun game. You can come down here, click play now. It's called UI, U-E-Y-E. Helps you learn UI design fundamentals. We have a dozen challenges where you submit your work, and then we have mentorship as well. You can read about that to see how that works, where I personally look at your work and review it. And also we have digital certificates of completion. So you'll have something hosted on the site if you wish, and it shows your certificate of completion. You can show employers and all that stuff that you're a badass design course enrollee. So just for this stream only, you can use, and I'm going to disable this discount after the stream's over. You can use Stream22, the discount code, to get 22% off for the year 2022. And also, if you're in a country that qualifies for parity pricing, visit the last step of the order form where you choose your payment method, and you'll be able to add a discount up to 40% off depending on where you live. All right, enough of me spamming you. Hopefully you all join, and let's continue on. So my current portfolio, though, I'm in the mood to redesign it. Okay. Ooh, this is interesting. Awesome, Stan, already a member. All right, so I have mixed feelings about this because this is actually pretty cool. The illustration of the woods graphic, I like the highlighting, but it's like nighttime. Very cool. However, I don't like the Come Explore font. I just feel it doesn't. I think just go with a simple sans serif font with this. It would work much better. And also the outer purple blue. I think get rid of that glow, and it would fit your design better because you don't have any glows or anything like that. You have just solid design. So I think it's a little bit mixed up. Also, Come Explore, with a little kind of push down indicator, probably could improve that area, at least push it down in the middle between here and here. Ahmed, the mentor program is something that's completely online. So it's not me actually like visiting you or anything. Hopefully that I made that obvious. All right. Looking at this type here, we could definitely improve that type. Let's see if we can do it real quickly. I actually did a video on this when you have two columns like this. I'm about to sneeze. Sorry. Avoid center texting this. So center aligning the text. So if I take this whole thing here, text align left, it's not going to item center. I'm not sure if, I haven't used Tailwind too much recently. Is that, nope, that doesn't fix it. Well, either way, I think in order to define the second column right here in the middle, left align this type and it would be much better. Also for visual hierarchy, typographically speaking, hi, I'm Justin. This needs to be larger because your three elements here are not different enough. I know they are slightly different, but they're not different enough. So hi, I'm Justin needs to be maybe like 1.5 times 50% larger than what it currently is, and left align all of it. I think this is pretty cool. This little kind of reminds me of 90s aesthetic right here. Here's some of my recent work. I don't like the thick borders like this, the high contrast borders on these. I think we could definitely improve this area, especially with the watermarked, what do you call, the watermarked backgrounds here. It just feels a little bit outdated in terms of design. So I rethink ways, you know, I think I've done videos on this as well, how to really present your projects in a more unique, more modern manner. So just do a keyword search for a portfolio. Left align this text here. I'm not a fan of having almost pill-shaped containers like this. It's not quite pill-shaped because they're not 100% rounded, but they're very close. I'm much more of a fan of just having, if you're going to have rounded corners, very minute, like 0.3 em units. Also, your alignment here where it says your name should be left aligned here, right to where the text field begins. The send button, also, you don't want to center that. Make it the same exact width as the rest of your form elements. And also the yellow just kind of seems out of place as well. All right, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. What do y'all think this person should get for a rating? Well, yeah, certainly portfolios should be, yeah, they should definitely be, I would say not necessarily simple, but easy to use and navigate. So simple in that manner, but you can do really cool things. Sometimes, you know, there's a fine line. People overdo it though and make it difficult to use. But at the same time, you do want to show creativity. But not everything has to be 100% creative. Like there's so many different ways to go about it. There's not one right way. You can have an ultra simple, simplistic portfolio, which a lot of the top designers, that's what they opt for. Or you could do something that's cool with like interesting parallax and all that stuff. There's literally nothing I can do about this. I mean, should I just keep talking through all this even though it's lagging? Well, here's the thing. This has no bearing at all on my daughter being on TikTok probably because she's always on it and I've done like hundreds of streams, literally hundreds. For me, I'm going to give this a rating here of probably like a 6.2 or so. All right, so I'm going to do a quick refresh on my stats here for a second. All right. Oh, wow. Awesome. Several of you took advantage of that offer. That is awesome. I have to do this every day. All right. Next up, we had a little bit of animation, so I'll refresh in a second. Yeah, my stream thing is just lighting up like crazy, like there's issues. What's crazy is, you know, YouTube's always been good. I've never had too bad of stream issues. It's very rare. All right, next up, let's refresh this. Hello world, my name is blah, blah, blah. And I'm not sure if I like that little C there. It's a little strange because there's a lot happening in this type. You got this bold over here. It looks like it's larger type as well. And then you have this. I don't know. Also, the call to action, make that a little bit larger. It's just a little bit too small for what it is. Let's click on my projects and see what happens. So it's a nice smooth scroll to that spot. I like that. I don't know what this little icon is. I thought it says I my projects, like a little apostrophe I, so that's a little bit confusing. I would take this subheadline, the purple thing, move it up more, not so close together, and also check them out. That's strange. From a UX perspective and a navigation perspective, if I click on my projects, I shouldn't have to click on check them out again as well. Because that requires 2 clicks for something that should require just 1. Looking at the rest of this, don't center this text, or it's not centered rather, but don't indent that. You have a quote here and the quotes are real far away from each other, from this actual element. So you would need to rethink that. There's crazy alignment happening. It's all over the place. You have left align here, you have center text here, you have an indented left align text here, and then you have right align elements here. You want to define this whole left section. So try to left align everything. and it'll really reinforce this layout much more. Same thing with this section. Now this is strange because you have this kind of cool area where you're showing, you know, parts of this project, like screenshots, but then you have this here. I can't tell if that's what was supposed to be a part of the design. If you're gonna have big type over like this, make that white and 100%, you know, contrast. Don't add transparency behind it. It'll look probably pretty cool, but you're gonna have to probably dim this out, maybe reveal it on hover, in order to show this type so that it doesn't conflict with the other type in the actual design. This part's pretty cool here. This is empty. Obviously, it's probably not quite ready. All right, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. Let me know what y'all think the person should get for a rating. Still a poor stream. Like, what is happening? It is so frustrating. See, if I restart the stream, I don't know if it's going to give me like a brand new URL and people will get lost. All right, so let's go ahead and continue on. I'm going to give this a rating here of, there's potential, 6.8. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. What do you think about this? Thank you to whoever is doing the check mark thing so I don't lose my space. All right. Work hero, demo pricing, FAQ, login. We can take care of your WordPress issues so you can focus on growing your business. Not too bad. Probably want a little bit more. I would put more white space on above C plans and how it works to separate this area out a little bit more. Here's a pretty good use case of high contrast borders here. They've only done it in one area really, and they're doing it in other areas as well, like high contrast lines here and seeing. This I'm completely fine with as an aesthetic. It's when you start adding these all over the place, the high contrast borders. Yeah, this is all solid here. I like this background because it's not pure yellow. It's an actual like a grainy texture. I really like that look. That's been something that's been done for a long time. This is same thing right here. This is solid, assuming that this is the actual design that you created. Yeah, very solid though. 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. What do y'all think this person deserves? I'm going to say this is definitely probably, yeah, at least an 8. Yeah, very good work here. I'm going to continue on because I know there's a huge lag here. Open original. Unfortunately, I can't really accurately do a review of this design because it's so it's not big enough. It's not high enough resolution. This is it. So for what it is, it looks pretty decent, but again, it's just so small on my 4K monitor, I can't really accurately really take a solid look at it. All right, next up. All right. Oh, this is one of these coder portfolios where it looks like it's an actual editor. All right, so one thing I do like at least is that you're utilizing the primary area right here as an actual design and not, some people they'll put like HTML and mix stuff up with their headline. It looks like code. It's like, where am I supposed to look at? Because it lacks that visual hierarchy, but at least you're doing that. I would add more white space around your button type, because a button doesn't look good when you have big type in it and there's not a lot of white space on the inside of the container. So I would definitely fix that. You can see this is the actual navigation, about, contact. Pretty cool, pretty unique. It looks like Visual Studio Code. It even has the Visual Studio logo in it. Not sure if, Microsoft would like that. They might sue you. It sends a C&D, a cease and desist, but cease and desist rather. But yeah, pretty cool. It's unique. I've seen this before though. I don't know if this is like a stock image or it's just the same person who created the same sort of thing. But yeah, very interesting. I don't think we're gonna bother with a rating just because of its extreme unique nature, just being like almost a copy of an existing UI. So it's interesting to say the least. Okay, now next one is right here. I actually did click on it and I looked at the browser version and there was no option to increase it. That was the actual size of the image. All right, next up, I'm just referring to somebody in here on the channel. Okay, look at this person. Alrighty then. Let's refresh this. Oh, I like the very subtle movement. Notice that. Let's refresh that again. How that comes in, like this is coming up and this stuff is coming from the left. It was very subtle and that's what you want, typically speaking. Coming down here, a little bit more white space between these elements. Like you have these feature blips or these little counts right here, very close to this logo section. If you put a lot of white space right here, we'll do margin bottom. It'll just frame this section a lot more rather than being right up against it. I would make the transitions faster on these hovers, just because you can kind of see while it's hovering this weird gray adjustment and it doesn't contrast well. So make those quicker. This works. I like how it's kind of yeah, that works for sure. This is pretty decent here. Now there's been studies about these sorts of inputs where you only have a underline, especially one that's also very low contrast. Some people, they don't see it and they think it's a line separator. For your purpose of being a portfolio, you're probably dealing with more tech savvy people, so it's not as much of an issue. But they do say more often than not, make sure you're actually showing the full text field by changing the background color or giving it a border all the way around. With that said, I like most of what I see here. Solid rating here. I'm going to give this a rating here of, yeah, probably like a 7.7. I think that's pretty fair. Awesome, awesome stuff. We're going to do, let's just keep going. Can you guys still hear me? Is everything going? Yeah, it says the stream's healthy, so. All right, good. Built Dribble, but for developers. That's interesting. Is this your actual project? All right. Drill. How are you supposed to say that? Drill. Drill. All right. You know what? You should change that name, not to Drill, because you can't say that very well. What you should say is, okay, developer, Driddle. Why not just 3 Ds for developer? Or Dripple for programmer, or Drickle for coder. Like, I think Driddle is much better. You should change it to Driddle. Let's look at the design itself, though. I don't know why you would do this illustrations by icon 8 from Ouch. I don't. That's something that you can put in on another page or in your footer or something like that. Not designate it right in your hero section. I'm sure they like that, but I would definitely adjust that. So this is kind of interesting. One of the things is we know if you're purely a developer, like a front-end developer or back-end guy or something, your designs probably aren't great. So when you're featuring the designs of a coder in thumbnail format, they just don't look good for the most part. And that's the issue I have with this. Some of these are kind of ugly. And so maybe rethink a way to present or allow coders to present their projects so that it doesn't have such a strong emphasis on their lack of design skills. Because if we go to dribble.com, yeah, these are all nice because everything's so well designed and it looks good, but these don't look as good. So think of another way, make it more typographic. Other than that, pretty solid. What do y'all think this person should get? 1 being the worst and 10 being the best. Yeah, you might not want to play on that too hard. I'm not sure about the legality issues of that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and give this a rating for what it is, especially given a lot of it's kind of just copied, including the name. I'll give this just a flat 7.0. Next up, my first test after learning from your channel. Well, it better look fantastic. If you're giving me something that's like a 3.0 rating, it's going to say I suck as a designer or a teacher. Wait, it's this person. This is actually pretty solid if it was your first one, but I did already review your stuff. Also, the second test, I don't review two things just because there's so many people waiting, so I already reviewed one of them. Okay, so I like the interesting approach of this layout, how it kind of has this 3-column approach, but there's definitely things that you could improve. Let's go here, File, New Design. Just in terms of the type and the white space, like if we push this in, we want to give more white space. See, when you have a high contrast element like this next to a high contrast piece of type, you don't want them to get too close. So we move this over just a bit, especially equal white space from here to there. That would make sense. So we're consistently applying roughly equal white space. So that's a little bit better. I don't know what type this is. If I double click it, it's Times New Roman. I think we can use something a little bit better than just flat out Times New Roman. A good serif font, I'm trying to think. Playfair Display is good, but for some reason I can only get the uppercase version. It's Playfair Display SC. Maybe Garamond would even better. I mean, I don't necessarily like that one more so, but let's just stick with that. Move things up just a bit. Put this right here perhaps. I'm not sure if I like having a serif font for these elements, for these type elements. I think maybe just having a sans serif font for those would be a little bit better. Things were kind of spread out a little bit too far, so we're kind of positioning them here instead. This right here doesn't really make sense to me. We could probably do something like that. So it's not competing so much by reducing the contrast with this headline over here. You know, you could even do something pretty possibly cool. I don't think I can achieve it here in actual Figma. But doing this situation where this becomes white, but making it the whole section even larger. That's a potential thing to do. But I do like the unique nature of this design. You want to make sure these are both aligned as well. So if we hit Shift R for the rollers, bring that down. Maybe scale these both like this. Now there's a little bit more stronger sense of alignment between your elements. Also get your guides out. Make sure, okay, that they are aligned good. That's working well. This is aligned well as well. So overall pretty solid, with just some small slight adjustments. Maybe take everything and put it down slightly. There we go. So we went from that to this. Just slight adjustments. All right. 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. I'm going to go ahead and give this a rating of just like 7.3. I think it's pretty, I like what you're going for. Awesome. All right. So, oh, my back. I'm an old man, I have to tell you. So unfortunately, that is going to be it for this stream. I'm going to mention that you have only a few minutes until I turn off the coupon code to DesignCourse.com, which just launched January 4th, a few days ago. And if you want to take, that's the wrong page, advantage, you want to make sure you use the promo code of what's it called, Stream22 within the next few minutes. We'll talk a little bit in the chat. Yeah, we could do like a Q&A if you want for a while. And yeah, so DesignCourse.com is the new system that we built. It's an interactive setting for learning UI, UX design, over 16 hours of video, 40 user interface tests, which is gamified. It's really fun to help you to build an eye for UI design fundamentals, and also a dozen challenges where you submit design work based on fictional project briefs, and also mentorship, which is an optional subscription add-on where you can actually submit those challenges, and I'll look at them, provide you with written feedback, and in many cases offer revisions based on your design so you can identify your weak points. There's also digital certificates of completion. If you complete everything, you'll have a URL hosted here with your name if you want it to be public, and that way you can just show everybody, hey, guess what? I learned from DesignCourse, therefore hire me. So make sure you use the discount code STREAM22 during this stream, which I'm going to be ending in about 3 minutes, and I will disable that. And that way you can join up. Now, if you're from a country that's a little bit more impoverished, where the US dollar is just worth way much more, then you can take advantage of parity pricing, and you'll find what that discount for your region will be on the checkout page, the final checkout page where you choose your payment. So Q&A if you all wish. We can talk and chat a little bit. I can show you guys the stats actually. We have a stats panel. So I have 19 submissions from mentor students who are waiting for me to review them, which I'll get to a little bit. We have 101 mentor students. We have 827 course users. So yeah, that's just within not even 2 weeks of being fully open, if we count the pre-launch users as well. Belarus, what is up? All right. Thanks a lot, Sean. So before I started this stream, we had like 7 people who purchased the course today, but now 7 more people did just within the last hour. So I think a lot of you took advantage of that offer, which is awesome. Very awesome. So we have some big things coming for DesignCourse here in this year. So the 2 things, like I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, there's going to be an Adobe Xd Course project-based. It's going to be cheaper than the whole UI UX course taught in Figma. And that's going to be coming in February, so just in a month or so. And I'm also going to have a crash course on that to promote it here on the channel. And then also an interactive CSS course with custom interactive modules that we create for the course as well. So of course there'll be videos, but there's going to be different ways to learn CSS outside of just videos like most people are offering. So this is going to be a really cool project-based CSS learning course where you're able to complete challenges, code challenges to complete certain objectives. And the way we think we're going to structure it is so that there will be like a picture of a layout, and you need to utilize what you just learned in order to create that layout with CSS, looking at the HTML markup as well. So I think that would be a really cool way for people to learn CSS. So I think it will be definitely cool. Parity pricing for India is definitely there. You just have to go to the final step of the checkout process after you log in. So yeah, it would make, and by the way, you can't stack coupons. So if you have parity pricing, you can't add on another discount like the Stream 22 one. But it would make sense to use the parity pricing for almost everybody, because I'm off, like for India, you get 40% off. Modern creator, well, you know what? For me, it was a long process. Some people are just able to knock it out of the park right away. For me, though, you know, I had to really go through trials and tribulations. I think that's how it is for most people, though. Yeah, I just kept on. I stuck with it, though. Like for my YouTube channel, this YouTube channel here, you know, for so many years, I only made like $300 a month off of it, so I couldn't live off it, especially here in the United States. But I stuck with it, and I did multiple videos per week, and it eventually got to a point where my best month, you know, it made me $8,000 just in ads alone. And then you add on sponsorships on top of that, and I was doing quite well. Now, it went down this year to like $5,500, but then recently it came back up to $7,000. So it fluctuates. I just don't quit. No matter what happens, I just don't quit. And especially with the launch of DesignCourse, now I'm making way more money. That's a whole other topic. I was stupid because the only way I made money the last several years was just through YouTube ads and sponsors. That's why I had a sponsor in like every video to make money. But now I'm not going to have to do that, because I finally got, you know, my own service together where I can really make a lot more money, and so just make the quality of the YouTube's videos here better without having a sponsor in every video. Now I just get to promote my stuff for the most part. Creeper, it's not 99. If you utilize you know, the discount, it'll be cheaper. I wonder which library did you use for displaying graphs on the web. This right here is called Grafana, Grafana. That's what this logo is. My developer and partner JVS, he used this to create a cool sort of admin panel. So yeah, this was not custom coded from scratch. Pakistan, I believe, is added as one of the countries for parity pricing. Yeah, so Ahmed, the only way I make money is just create. I don't do freelance work anymore. It's been a long time since I've done that. Yeah, the way I make money. So initially, here's how my trajectory was. By the way, guys, I'm going to be done here in a few minutes. So if you want to join up, Stream 22 discount, or use parity pricing if it's available. So the way I started out making money initially was freelance work, like most people. I was doing client-based work, and I was doing web design and logo design big time. And this is back like 2007 or so. I had articles that ranked very well on YouTube on how to design logos. So I did something like 2,000 logos over the course of about 6 or 7 years. And I was also, you know, building websites for those people as well, upselling them. But then Google stopped sending me traffic, and then my business died around 2012. And that's when I started drinking alcohol a lot. I was so stressed out. 2 kids, young kids. So then I got into teaching, you know, what I knew. Through Envato Network, which they're the people that own themeforce.net. You probably heard about them. They were real big before, probably still big. But they had a site called Toots Plus, or tutsplus.com. I started teaching them. Just teaching like 1 to 2 hour courses on things. So I did like 25 courses with them. And then I did about 25 courses with Pluralsight. And then at the same time, I started working on my YouTube channel. And then probably about 3 years ago, I was able to go full-time on my YouTube channel and make money that way. Awesome. So our course is built in PHP. No, this DesignCourse.com is built on a stack of Nuxt.js primarily. With, I believe, the back end is like Mongo. I'm not sure. Doing freelance since last year, found an industry has a big revenue, but for me, it's not yet. Can you give me any tips to increase revenue? Well, it's all about marketing. I mean, you have to understand internet digital marketing, how to get traffic to your website. So first of all, your website has to be on point, all that. I've done videos about that. And you have to learn how to generate traffic. You know, one of the greatest ways is through SEO, search engine optimization. If you learn that and you write a blog and you start writing about topics that the potential employers start to read and might hire you from, that's one of the greatest ways. So SEO, big time. Also, social media, building out a following on Twitter. There's definitely ways to do that. So think about that for sure. All right, that's going to be it for me. Thanks all for hanging out. I'm going to, at this point, go ahead and retire that coupon. I'll make this a weekly thing. If you want that 22% off for the year of 2022, you can come back next stream and I will enable it. All right, everybody. Hopefully enjoy that, and I will see you all very soon. Goodbye.